Thank you, Lynn. I want to be the first to have the opportunity to say, since you just stepped down, that we have a lot to be proud of here in our school district. They've made amazing strides in the last few years, and with the plans that are coming up in coming years, we have a lot to look forward to. So I appreciate the effort the school district has made, and we look forward to partnering in that to continue that progress. So let's give them another round of applause. The one thing I learned as I watched the school district's presentation is that the town needs a digital learning initiative. This is going to be a little old school, so just we're going to kind of just do some slides here. But hopefully you'll learn something from it. You'll learn a little bit about what the town's got going on, and more importantly, have a better appreciation for some of the challenges we faced over the years and how we've overcome those. It's really nice to see so many folks here. When I sat down, there were a lot fewer, so this is pretty exciting. I think in the events that I've been to over the years, this is probably the best turnout we've had. I do want to recognize a few folks that are here. If I can point out a few that are in the room with us. I saw some council members that joined us. Richard Stevens is here if you'll stand for me when I call your name. District or Place 1 council member. I see Bill Ribkin back in the back. He's place 6. Curtis Cornelius is here as well, District 3. I saw Katie Gibson as well, and there's Chip. Chip's with us as well. So I didn't see Stephanie Shoemaker. She's a member of our council as well. And did I miss anyone there? I think I got them all. Okay. We also have a large number of members of our staff. Some of those will be joining us to answer some questions here in a little bit, if you have any. I'm going to go ahead and get started on this process. If you'll give me the first slide, I'd appreciate it. You're already there. So one of the things that is real important to me as we continue to move on toward the future of our town is what is our town going to become? We've achieved a huge amount over the past few years, and you've seen that in construction projects that have gone on over the past few years, things that are going on right now, the road widening projects that are going on. They're not town projects, they are TxDOT projects, but they're going to change the face of Little Elm as we know it over the coming years, and we have to make sure that we're keeping up with the progress and with the functions and activities that our residents expect to see. The interesting thing about Little Elm is that very few people that live in Little Elm are from Little Elm. We have a few exceptions to that, but the vast majority, probably over 95% of the town, has moved here in the last 10 years or so. And as a result, you have people who've come from communities all over the country, and they've moved into Little Elm. Well, they didn't move here from farms, for the most part, some did. But for the most part, what we have are a bunch of people who've come from communities that had a certain level of service that they expected to see in a community. And now we're trying to build a community that meets those needs, the needs that people showed up expecting. So as we develop these plans in the coming years, we certainly want the community to be a part of that. Some of these things are well underway. Our new town manager, Marc Mueller, is going to be talking here in just a couple of minutes about some of the projects that we've completed, the Community Recreation Center, Senior Center, a lot of the park development that we're working on. But as we continue that development, having that community involvement in that process is going to be critical to making sure we build the community that all of us expect to see for our futures, for our kids, for their kids, as they continue to grow in Little Elm. So one of the things that the council has started moving toward, and one thing we'll be working on in the coming months, is a long-term strategy development for the town, basically a visioning study, to say this is what we want Little Elm to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. Going back, looking through some of the historical documents that existed in the town that have been adopted by previous councils, frankly, we couldn't find anything that looked like that. We've done some studies over time for specific projects or for what our buildings should look like, how we want our streets to be built, and things like that, but nothing that really wrapped its arms around what this community should become one day. So over the next 6 months or so, the town council is going to be working with each of our boards and commissions to develop that long-term strategy. We're also going to be working with the community, putting community meetings together, letting you have a voice in that process. What types of facilities should we have? What should those facilities look like? What kind of services should they offer? What kind of things should the town do? So we're going to be developing that in the coming months, and hopefully that will help us establish what what the values of our community are, what we truly value. Ultimately, everything that we build in this community comes from the pockets of the people that live here. And we want to make sure that we're using those dollars in the right way to put them into services and facilities that our community can appreciate and enjoy. So we're going to work on that over the next few months. I hope you'll be a part of that. We're going to talk to you a little bit now, and when I say we, I mean Matt is going to talk to you now about a lot of the stuff that's been going on in the town and what those efforts include. So I'd like to welcome our new town manager, Matt Mueller, and I hope you'll welcome him too.
All right. Thank you very much, Mayor. It's certainly an honor to be here before you. I feel a little bit caged in. Normally, I'm a roamer, so I'm kind of contained behind the podium today, which is good. You won't get whiplash by watching me walk back and forth. But before I start, I'd like could our department heads, if you're here, could you stand up? Come on, I know you're a little shy, but let's give them a round of applause. Because all of the things that I'm about to talk about have really been made possible by the hard work and the dedication of our town staff and for the leadership of the mayor and the town council. So I am extremely fortunate. I'm very, very happy to be here. I'm almost midway through my 6th week on the job, so I'm very new to the community, and I just am humbled that I had the opportunity to come work for this community. Everyone that I've met so far has just been amazing. It's a very interesting community because we're growing so rapidly, and we're a large-sized city, but we've got the feel and the culture and the friendliness of a small town, and I think that that's something that's very, very unique, and it's something that's very important for us to keep. The things that are important to me in an organization, it really boils down to 4 things, and the first is integrity. We can't do anything if we don't have a solid foundation of ethics and honesty. And I think as public servants, we need to hold ourselves to a higher standard and have a strong level of integrity so that you know that we're acting appropriately and we're doing the right things at Town Hall. The second is efficiency. Efficiency is extremely important because ultimately we're spending your money. And again, it's a very special position that we're in because we're stewards of the taxpayer dollar. And we have to be committed and we have to be dedicated to making sure that every cent of that dollar is spent efficiently and is spent properly. The third is innovation. I'm a little bit competitive, and I want to be on the leading edge of everything we do. When other cities see, when other cities look around and say, what are the best practices out there, I want them to look at us. Little Elm is going to be the standard that all the other communities measure themselves by. And then ultimately, customer service is also very important. Again, we're in the customer service business. It's not about us. It's not about those of us who work for the town. That's all secondary. We're here for one purpose, and that's to meet your needs through the services that we provide. And so to start off, I'd like to start off talking, if we could go to the first slide, just talking about some of our finances and our fiscal state. And as you can see, we've got kind of a graph going back from 2003, and we've had significant growth, as to be expected going along with our growth in population. We've had monetary growth as well. And if you look at the red, that's where our expenses have been. And if you look at the blue, that's where our revenues have been. So that's a very, very good thing because it means that we have not spent more than we've brought in. This has allowed us to stay true to the council's goal or the council's mandate for us to have a 25% fund reserve established. And so if look at the graphic on the next slide, this is something that's always very good. If we could go to the next one. If we look at a dollar that we have at the town that comes out of our budget, if we look how it's divided, and you see that 40 cents of that goes to public safety, so our police and fire services, and 35 cents goes to debt management. We have a little bit that goes to administrative services, public works, culture and recreation, and then transfers within our own budget. And I think that if you looked at any budget of any community around, you'd see a pretty similar picture. For most cities and towns, the bulk of their money is spent on public safety. It's one of the key components of quality of life is making sure that you're safe. The next slide is something that's very exciting and a lot of people have a great interest in, and I know that Jeanette with the EDC gets a lot of questions about is what's coming to town, what's coming next. We've seen a significant amount of growth over the last couple years. Some of the name brands that you see up there, the who's who of retail development. We've had Applebee's, Kroger, Aldi, Racetrack, QT, Chevron, Brakes Plus, and then 2 that we see there are ones that have just submitted their site plans, so you'll be seeing in the next few months starting some construction with Firestone and Callaway's Nursery. We've also seen, as we can see by the next slide, just a phenomenal amount of residential growth. We've had 560 single-family permits issued just within the last 12 months. And, you know, there was a lot of thought that we were going to be in a new economic reality. I still think that we're in a new economic reality after 2008, but there was a lot of thought that we were never going to get to pre-2008 growth numbers. And this is the highest amount of growth that we've seen since we think 2006, looking back. So we're seeing phenomenal growth. We're seeing growth just pick up, and what we're seeing is amazing. If we could go to the next slide, we're seeing some diversity in our housing options. Currently under construction on 423, we've got our multifamily development project underway, and that's going to happen in 3 phases, with the first phase being kind of more condo type development, the second phase being more traditional urban style apartment dwellings, and then some townhouses in addition. And these are going to be very high quality apartments. These are going to be comparable to what you'll see in any high-end North Dallas suburb. And if we go to the next slide, I don't know if anyone's noticed driving around town, but there's a little bit of construction going on. And this is something, you know, it's one of those things, you know, I got to town and people said, oh, you've got such construction, how are you going to handle it? And from my perspective, the hard work is done because the dirt is being turned, the projects are funded, you know, the problems have been addressed. Now what we need to do is manage the inconvenience. So if we'll go to the next slide. Right now, this one is the one that's coming to completion. This is the middle section of 423. And this essentially goes, it's expanding the lanes to 6 lanes divided with a divided median from the Colony all the way to Little Elm Parkway. And this is going to see total completion sometime during the first of the year. This is, I think, a $39 million project. Is that 39 or 29 million? One of the two. There's not much difference between the two, right? When you're talking about a project that big, it goes back to that financial efficiency. But it's a very large-scale project that TxDOT has been working with us to complete, and you know, everyone is driving it now. We're seeing ease of access. We still see the traffic calming devices out there, but we're estimating a first of the year before total construction. The next project, if we could go to the next slide, is the 423 North section. And this is something you'll notice when you're going, that it pretty much, the concrete road and the 6 lane stops at Kroger. And you know, that's something obviously with the traffic patterns we need to address. So this is the next phase of the section. Right now the project has been funded, it's under design. I believe they're gonna bid the project in the spring. And it'll widen 423 all the way from where it stops, where the middle section is stopped construction, all the way to 380. And this project should be done in the next couple years, but it's going to give us a tremendous thoroughfare through town all the way to 380. The next section, this is probably the one that we're most familiar with now because this is where most of the disruption is happening, and that is Eldorado. And this is expanding Eldorado from the west side all the way to the Kroger area, to Little Elm Parkway. It's expanding the road again to 6 lane highway, concrete highway with a divided median. And this is going to be something, you know, we've got a few months ahead on this. This is going to open kind of in May of 2014, I think is the time frame. So we've got a few more months of construction ahead, but it's going to be a beautiful project once it's complete, and it's really going to create an ease of access. And then the final one that I just want to mention, and it's the farthest away, but it's Grove Parkway, to give another thoroughfare to go all the way to 380. So this project, right now, TxDOT is I think they're about 60% complete on their designs, and they hope to, you know, get this project started in about 2 years or so. So as you can see, we've got great opportunities ahead of us in road construction and road projects. You know, I know that the commute from Little Elm has been something that's been discussed, and the traffic congestion that's been happening around town has been a concern to a lot of our residents, and rightfully so. But, you know, the significant growth that we've had since 2000, I think 610% is what I've seen just in 10 years. Really the projects are happening at a pretty good pace, and hopefully it'll be just a few years before the inconvenience is done and we've got a very nice traffic system. So I want to shift gears now and talk about some of the programs that are either under construction or have been constructed at the town level. And the first, I'm sure you're very familiar with this project. This is the Fire and Police Public Safety Building. This project opened in December of 2011, and just a beautiful facility that houses our fire, EMS, and our police department. The exciting thing about this facility is it's also built for expansion, so this should last us as we continue to grow with our population and have to add police and fire services. The next one that I want to talk about is something that's two new facilities to us that opened up this summer, and that's the Senior Center and the Recreation Center. And if you haven't been to those facilities yet, you're doing yourself a disservice because they're beautiful facilities. They're doing some great programming there. Had the opportunity to go have lunch at the Senior Center today, and it was great. It's a great gathering place for community to share thoughts and ideas, play pool, play cards. And then the Rec Center is a great combination of a community center and also a fitness facility. It's got some meeting space. It's got a basketball facility, a workout room. So just great amenities that have been added to the community. The next project is something I'm extremely excited about, and we're in the very early stages of it. And Council and the CDC board have just approved the funding to get the construction documents and the engineering done for this. And this is improvements at Little Elm Park. And this is something we hope to have open by the summer of 2014. We're going to expand the swim beach, relocate the boat ramp so that there's not that conflict between the beachgoers and the boats that are unloading. So we'll have a much bigger swim beach, also add some more parking, and expand some of our play toy amenities, have a really nice theme in mind I think that they're going after, and then also expand the volleyball courts. Those are amenities in that park that get a tremendous amount of use. We're really looking forward to that being a destination park here in this community. The next item is the library. If you've been to Town Hall lately, you've probably seen some changes. And I don't have a great frame of reference because most of it was, most of where things are located were kind of right there when I was brought on board 6 weeks ago. But some of the changes have been, the police department moved out into their new facility. The utility department has moved upstairs. And the entire downstairs, with the exception of the council chambers, is going to be expanded into the library. And so, again, another portion of our community that's very important is to have a library that meets everyone's needs, and with a growing community, we have the need to expand. So we're hoping that this project is going to be completed by the summer, and should provide a lot of opportunities for increased service on our part, and just a great library for this community. It's going to take up the entire downstairs except for the council chambers. The next project is the animal shelter. Something it's under construction. It's a 3,500 square foot animal shelter. This is located near our Public Works Center at Mark Tree Lane. And it's going to have 12 dog runs, a sally port for the offloading of animals and food supplies. It's going to be a great area to take care of the animals while they're in transition from being found wandering around to when they find their next home. And this also we hope to be open by the summer. Another project that kind of goes in coordination with the apartments that we talked about earlier is McCord Park. And this is a 38-acre park that's going to be located along the Cottonwood Creek, and it's right off of 423. This is a great, I don't know how our development services director sometimes works the deals that he works, because it's pretty magical, the things he can come up with. But this is a park that's going to go along with that apartment complex that's being funded by the developer and going to be maintained by the developer, but it's going to be a community park. It's going to have trails, picnic tables, a fishing pond. It's going to have the look and feel of all of our other parks, with that beautiful fence with the stone and the split rail fence, and also the lighthouse and marquee board. So the things that you've come to expect, the quality and service level that you've come to expect in our parks, are going to be here on this park, welcoming visitors as they come into our city limits. It's going to be a very exciting project. And then also, something that's coming up that we're going to have a very nice ceremony on Veterans Day is going to be the Veterans Memorial Bridge. This is a bridge that's being constructed on Witt Road to alleviate, from what I've been told from people who have lived here through any type of rain event or flooding event, it wasn't uncommon for this bridge to be closed down if there was a little bit of an issue with the water. So hopefully this will alleviate that, give us another transportation corridor through the community, and provide another beautiful amenity that you can travel and enjoy. So those are the exciting programs that we've got going on now. Our capital project folks have been very, very busy, and there's just a whole bunch of growth and construction going on. But we also have some programs as well that have happened. We recently reopened our courtesy drop site, and that's a great area where you can take your materials that you may not want to wait for bulk pickup day. You can take those off and drop those off on the weekend. The medicine take back program that we have for people to drop off their pharmaceuticals so they don't end up in the wrong hands. Our updated town website, if you haven't been to littleelm.org lately, please go. We're really doing everything we can to increase our communication efforts with the community, and the website is the portal for us to do that. It's one of the nicest websites I've seen in a long time. I think really reflects the town's aesthetics and character, and we're really doing everything we can to put the documents, the information on there so that we can provide a level of transparency and communication to you so that you always know what's going on and so that the information you may need about your public services is at your fingertips. Arbor Day last weekend in coordination with the Clean and Green event, we gave out, 100 trees, I think, to residents. The digital marquee signs that you're seeing those pop up around town, another area for us to communicate public events and things that are happening. There are certainly no shortage of events happening in this community. There's something exciting happening I think there's 3 events going on right here, right now, aren't there? So there's a lot of things going on, and these are a great way for us to communicate those to you and let you know what's happening. The solar panels, we had a solar panel project that's completed that goes to reduce some of the energy bills at Town Hall and at the Public Safety Center. The reimagined recycle kiosk at the Kroger. Our e-bill utility billing for ease of access to you. We're offering e-billing services. If you haven't signed up for that, call our utility office or come see us. The Citizens Police Academy. These are great ways for our citizens to become involved and see what the men and women in law enforcement do on a day-to-day basis. The Fire Explorers program, a great way for the youth to get involved to see what the fire department does and to get their foot in the door for public service. And our Billboard Exchange program. This is a program that we have that allows owners of billboards to kind of consolidate, and if they've got a couple billboards out there, if they're willing to consolidate those down, they can trade those in for a digital billboard so that we can reduce some of the visual clutter that may be happening on our thoroughfares. We've been very fortunate this year, and we've also received several recognitions and awards. Again, we're designated as a Tree City USA. We were awarded the Planning Excellence Award from the Texas chapter of the American Planning Association. This was something that was very special. The Planning Commission of the Year Award for the state of Texas awarded to our Little Elm Planning and Zoning Chair, Michael McClellan. And this is a big award. This is for the entire state of Texas. And he was selected as the Planning Commission Chairman of the Year. Outstanding Partnership Award for the Greater Dallas-Fort Worth Recycling Council for our partnership with CDW conducting the Extreme Green events. Keep Texas Beautiful Award, the Outstanding Youth Education Award from the Greater Dallas-Fort Worth Recycling Council. And recently we just received the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting awarded by the Government Finance Officers Association of the U.S. and Canada. This means that we're handling the finances okay. It means we're good at it. So as you can see, we've got a lot of exciting things going on. We've got a very well-run organization. You know, I think the biggest thing I can do is just not to mess it up, because we've got great folks. We've got a great council. I see the mayor applauding that. I think he might be a little worried about it. But we've got a great council, great community leadership, great staff. Again, I'm humbled to be a part of this. I really look forward to being a part of this community. Thank you so much for welcoming me, and I just look forward to great things. So with that, I'd ask the mayor to come back up here so that we could address any questions that you may have at the town level.